Hello, let's do a January TBR video. So we're in that weird time of year where Christmas has ended, New Year's hasn't happened yet, still have all my Christmas decor up. You can't see my house, but it's a disaster. My kids are downstairs being really loud. But let's talk about what books I'm going to read in January. I have them divided by the ones I am most excited about, the classics I'm going to read, the advanced reader's copies I'm going to get through, and book of the month picks. Historically, I've had 3 Januaries in a row where I've read no good books. I was looking back through my Goodreads, and January's just been like a tough month for me the last few years in terms of getting good reads in, but hopefully this year that will not be the case. And I'm feeling pretty confident because I've got some stuff in here that I think I'm going to really like. My hands down most anticipated read of January is Sistersong by Lucy Holland. And one of my friends heard about this book and told me I needed to read it. And it came out last year at some point. It's not a brand new release this December. Yeah, it's 2021. Just from reading the description, this is a book that I wish I wrote. So to give you a little background on it, sounds like it's going to be a historical fantasy. It takes place in the kingdom of Magnolia, I think is how you say it, which is basically like post-Roman Britain. And it takes place while the Britons are fighting the Saxon invasion. First of all, I love that time period so much. It's like the same time period as Arthurian legend, which I've talked before about how much I love, so I'm really looking forward to it. This story follows 3 children of a king and sort of their destinies in terms of the Saxon invasion and what's going to happen in the world. There's 2 characters that are going to come in who you might recognize from Arthurian legend, and one is Tristan of Tristan and Isolde fame, which is sort of connected to Arthurian legend, not thoroughly though. I could do a whole video on that, but I really like the character of Tristan, so I'm looking forward to that. And the second one is Merdim, who I assume is going to be Merlin, but has like a Welsh Old British spelling. I didn't read too much into this book because I know I really want this one to be sort of a surprise, but it looks fantastic. It has a beautiful cover with a harp on it and some Triskells and just some cool like designs. I have not read anything by this author. I can't wait. Let's read the first line. God, it's got a great first line. I will tell you a story. Fantastic first line. I'll let you know if the last line is as good after I read it. So that is Sistersong by Lucy Holland and my most anticipated read of January. My next anticipated read for January is Winter Garden by Kristin Hannah. This is my first Kristin Hannah read, and I bought this, I want to say in October, knowing I would read it in January because I like reading wintry stuff in January and February that is not holiday themed. This looks like it's going to be best described as a family saga, a story between mothers and daughters and sisters, and sort of the secrets that are kept throughout generations of family. This is going to jump between present day, in which 2 sisters are with their mother as their father is, I'm not sure if he's dying or just extremely ill, and their mother starts to tell them a fairy tale that she used to tell them when they were children, and then ends up telling them the story of her life living in Leningrad through World War II. Leningrad is now St. Petersburg. I'm very excited to read this. My husband and I went to St. Petersburg on our honeymoon, and I absolutely loved the city. So I cannot wait to read something set there. I've also heard that Kristin Hannah is someone who's like such a good writer. So part of me is wondering if I'm going to read this, and then for the next few months, you're going to see a Kristin Hannah book on every single TBR, which you might. We'll see. But The Winter Garden by Kristin Hannah, very much looking forward to this one. Next, let's talk about the classics I'm going to read in January. So the first one, I haven't been to the library because our library hours are really weird this week, and I'm just going to wait till after my kids are back in school to grab it, is Wide Sargasso Sea by Rhys. It is a Jane Eyre retelling from the point of view of Bertha, Rochester's first wife, aka the mad woman in the attic. I've heard it's fantastic. I've heard I'd love it. I actually ended up reading The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins this week. I originally had it on my January TBR, but I finished my December TBR early, and that is also a Jane Eyre retelling, and I thought it was good. I'll talk about it in my December wrap-up, but I'm really looking forward now to reading Wide Sargasso Sea because I think I'm going to really like it. The next classic I'm going to read in January is not the complete works of Shakespeare, but The Winter's Tale, which I've got my bookmark in already. It's way at the end. I think this might be alphabetical. I can't wait. It's the first play for my year of Shakespeare, which I did a video about. the plays I'm going to read by William Shakespeare in 2022. I'm going to start with The Winter's Tale. I also found a acted out recording with multiple actors. So I think I am going to read and listen to it at the same time. I have been sort of looking for more audio book type stuff to listen to when I'm walking. And I think that might be a good way to get me out the door in January. Listen to a Shakespeare play while I'm walking around my neighborhood. So A Winter's Tale will be my first Shakespearean read of 2022. And my last classic for January is Northanger, Abbey by Jane Austen. I actually started this at the end of October, probably like 3 days before the month ended. But then with doing NaNoWriMo in November, I sort of set it down. I know what happens because I've seen the movie several times, so I didn't feel like I had to finish it right away. I think I read one chapter this month, so didn't do a great job at that. But I'm on page 72, and my plan is to finish this book in January because then I will officially read Jane Austen's 6 main novels. Plus I read Sanditon, which was awful. Don't read it. It's like the first draft of the first 70 pages of a novel. And then I will be able to do a ranking video officially to let you know what order I think they all go in. Next, I have 2 advanced reader copies I want to get to in January. They're actually some ones that I requested recently rather than some of the ones I've had for longer that have books coming out later. So the first one is called Shady Hollow, and it's by Juneau Black, which is an author team, and I can't remember the 2 authors' names who make up Juneau Black. But it looks very quirky and whimsical. It is a murder mystery set in a town made up entirely of animals. So the way I read the description, it kind of reminded me of the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox, directed by Wes Anderson. So I think it'll be fun. I mean, it's one of those books I feel like it'll either be like whimsical blast or it'll be very ridiculous. So I'll let you know. And my second arc I'm going to read in January is Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon. I did just review, it felt like, the first Ice Planet Barbarians in November, I think, and say that I wasn't sure if I was going to read anymore. And then I was going through my NetGalley, which I do every couple weeks to see what there is to request. I've been keeping an eye out for a certain book, so I've been really going through the romance section, and I saw Barbarian Alien, and I thought, you know what, my reading in January, it's not that it's heavy, but I have 3 classics plus 2 literary fiction thick books, and I thought it might be fun to read an alien erotic romance. I mean, gotta give myself something that's like a little bit lighter than everything else I'll be reading. And lastly, we're going to do my book of the month picks. I actually picked 3 books this month, so I did pick one of the January picks, and then I went ahead and got 2 books off my TBR shelf because I'm still very much in the Christmas spirit and wanted to get myself a couple more gifts. My pick for January is The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis, and it's a historical fiction. And I, again, as I do, don't really read much of the description, but I did read the sample pages that they gave us, and I really liked the style of writing, and I think that I will enjoy the story. I know the main character is an artistic model, and little known fact about myself, when I was in high school, I did model for an art class for like a semester for no reason other than I used to be a dancer and thought it might be kind of fun, and it was kind of fun. It was completely clothed, obviously, because I was like 17 years old. I'm also trying really hard to read more historical fiction, which I will talk about in my next video as to why I'm doing that. So when I saw they had a historical fiction piece, I wanted to grab it. I also purchased the book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd, which is a reimagining of Jesus's life with a feminist wife, which is another book I picked particularly because of some work I'm going to be doing in the first half of 2022. And I also picked Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I've wanted to read that for a long time. I love Greek mythology retellings. I've heard good things about it. It's been a long enough time, I feel like, since I read Circe that I can get back on the Greek mythology train in terms of reading some retellings. So those are my January 2022 reads. Hopefully they will be fantastic. I'm looking at a couple titles, wondering if they'll be like top books of my life, in particular Sistersong. Not to put any pressure on the author, but I think I'll really like that book. I'm really looking forward to it. That's the one I'm going to read first. As soon as I wake up on January 1st, I'm going to start that book. I hope you have a wonderful, cozy month lined up of reading for you. I feel like January is one of those months. It's great to get some really good reading in. Under cozy blankets. It's still really dark here. It's very cold here. We got our first snow of the year yesterday, and then it promptly rained for 6 hours, like a gross slush rain, and now it just looks disgusting outside. But last year, the end of January, we had 3 feet of snow. So we'll see what happens. You never really know what the weather's going to be like. I hope you are in the middle of a good book, about to start reading a good book, or about to start writing a great book. Bye.